Nightingale, The Magic Word. It's on YouTube. I listen to it at least once a day, um, and have been for forever. And it's guys, if you listen to that video, somebody challenged me to listen to that audio for 30 days straight.
Mm-hmm.
About the first 15 days, I was like, this is dumb, this is boring. Day 16 changed my life. So like give it time, give it some energy, some effort. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I was literally just on a walk listening to that. And I remember where I was at, like in my neighborhood at the time, and I was like, he was talking about the concept of yourself. The concept of yourself has to change. Um, and I was like, what is the concept of myself? And it was in that moment, and I finally listened to it over a dozen times that I was like, that's what he means. Um, and it was crazy because at that same time, like I started changing the way that I dressed, who I associated with, like how I talked, where I was going, like what I was doing, like what my daily habits were. And I really changed the concept of myself. And that's led to some crazy, wild experiences and some epic adventures and some amazing conversations. And
Mm-hmm.
so
No, I did the same thing too.
that first
Because they
like
were
30
challenging
days.
all the leaders. Yeah, they were challenging all the leaders. They're like, you guys need to listen to audio for 30 days. Every month you need to have an audio of the month. And right now one of my audios is from C.S. Lewis, but Attitude, that was my audio for like 2 months straight, just because of how like in shock I was that it actually changed like my mind, my perspective. And I'm like, yo. And he even said that too. He's just like, um, most people that you find at the top that are living the life that, the 1% and whatnot, most of them have a great attitude. And I thought about it. Matt Gribley, great attitude. Nano, great attitude. Matt Rosa, great attitude. Ed Milet, great attitude. Like all the people that I meet, their attitude's always on point. Like, you know what I mean? Like even people that are unknown to a lot of people that, in the networking space, high-end realtors that I've met, great attitude. And I'm just like, well, will you look at that?
Like, well, there's something to it.
Right? And man, and it's truly something I would definitely say that it has change the game because your attitude literally is like the posture of your mind. You know how people say, oh, the posture of your heart? No, attitude is the posture of your mind. And that will dictate how you respond or react to life. But that was great audio. I love that audio. Great, great start to the call.
That was sweet. Dude, I'm excited for today. It's a I don't know, most of you guys are in the US, but I know Eugene's in Canada, but this was like holiday weekend, so everybody's like either out and about with their family or doing other things or continuing on with their normal day-to-day day. I'm out
Mm-hmm.
here in Arkansas, with my dad's side of the family, and so it's been
Cool.
interesting. Like it's always different when you're with different people and in a new environment, new space, all the things, even if you've been there before.
Mm-hmm.
You're surrounded by different circumstances, different conversations. And one thing I've learned this week is regret is palpable.
Mm.
Conversations about not taking risks, conversations about not doing the thing that they said they would do when they said they would do it. You can feel how much that weighs on somebody.
Wow.
And as much as it's like as those have to be the most devastating kind of conversations. And
Mm.
as for everybody that's on this call, don't wait for it to be those kind of conversations. We get to create the stories that we get to tell. And if you live your entire life in regret,
Mm.
those are not fun stories to tell. So that's why we have Separation Saturday. That's why we have these conversations,
Mm.
um, in order to not fall prey to normalcy, not fall prey to complacency, not fall into just a normal average life. Because I know every single one of you on this call wants to do something extraordinary. and is in the process of doing that. And so like the fact that we're here on a Saturday on a holiday, like ish weekend, says a lot about you guys.
Sheesh.
And like we said, like I don't ever want to tell stories of regret. I want to tell stories of adventure and excitement and oh my God, we tried this and oh my God, maybe this thing failed, but we still did it. And it's like those stories, I want those stories for you guys to
Mhm.
have. But we have to reprogram this. And so this conversation, this topic that Femi and I have today, oh, it's gonna be really cool. So hope you guys are doing amazing. Drop in the chat where you guys are tuning in from. And then Femi, let us know what we're doing today. I know you got a really good topic to talk about.
Yeah, that you caught me with that one. Regret is palpable. Wow.
Feel it.
I felt that though. I felt that. And it's funny because nowadays, I don't even think it's just holidays where we're hearing those. Like now, that's kind of most people's conversations when you're asking them, hey, like, what are your passions? Or hey, do you like your job? Or hey, like, what's going on? They're like, yeah, but, I could have back in the day, X, Y, and Z. I missed this opportunity. Blah, blah. But they're already acting like that. They're
Hmm.
already acting like, it's all over. And it's like, if you wake up every single day, you have the chance to create it. It's not too late.
Facts.
It's not too late. But that was powerful. Sheesh.
Ooh,
I had to drop that one in the chat. But yeah, with that, being said, the topic today is kind of like I was going through my stuff, I was organizing, usually when I can't sleep. And I had a crazy day. For those that don't know, I'm a mom of two. And yesterday was just one of those days. They've been out of school for a week and Thanksgiving is one day. I'm
oh
like, what
my
is the
gosh.
school system doing? I'm like, they could have been at school the whole week. Like, what are y'all doing? But it's all good though. We spent a lot of time. But they wore me out yesterday, but also too, I didn't get to do anything for me. So it was like a
Mhm.
late organized. And I found this training that we're gonna give you, and it hit for me because I wasn't aware that I was being a inconsistent underachiever.
Oof.
But yet I was surrounded by people that are winning, that are living the life that I want. And there comes a time where when you're in an environment that you've been seeking for, you've been asking for, you really start asking like, wait, why isn't this working for me? Like, what's happening? What am I doing? And your awareness starts growing because you start seeing, well, I have the same opportunity as this person. I'm in the same space. I have the same contacts. I have the same information. I have the same platform, but the success looks different. So why is that? And it's because most of the time people have not yet come to the realization that they are inconsistent or they're underachievers and
Mm.
they haven't done enough. So that's the topic that we're covering today. And we're going to give you three things on, why people are inconsistent or they become underachievers. And the first one is no steady direction, right? Some people have to be really careful because just because you're in a winning environment, that doesn't mean you can vicariously live through this environment and think that you're gonna win.
Mm.
Like I know we talk about like change your environment, which you need to, because your environment, your thoughts, and what you see is how you create your belief system. It's very true. But there's that one factor of not having a direction. So if you don't have direction, you can't take any action. You know what I mean? And you can't necessarily take everyone else's direction and say that it's yours. Because what works for Grace may not work for Jeech. What works for Eugene may not work for me,
Mhm.
right? There is a overall where we are pouring into the same vision. We have a piece that goes with the same whole vision, but the direction there completely different. And you have to realize that not having a steady direction is going to make you inconsistent. You may have the tools, you may have the notes, you may hop on the training, but if you don't have a steady direction, as in every day on a day to day, when you wake up, you know what brick you're laying down to build that house for that goal. If you don't have that, it's not there's nothing's gonna happen, right? Because you don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. And we can give you the tools, we can give you the concepts, and exactly
Gold card check.
always. Mine is right here, bro. Always, 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 always. Like
Who's got,
everywhere.
who's got
Literally
their gold card? Even if it's
everywhere.
close by you. If it's close by you, grab it.
You're winning. Yeah. Literally I have one in in my wallet, one in my bag where my wallet is, and one always like somewhere. One in the bathroom, one in my closet, one over here when I'm in this space. And I even have this wall poster where I laid out all of it. So yeah, you guys, like, you need to have a steady direction. Because you don't have a steady direction, it keeps you inconsistent, and you are considered an underachiever because you're not doing everything that you can be doing. You're using like a fraction of your potential, of what's already inside of you. But having a steady direction, knowing whatever it is that you want to do, you should know how to get to your goal in multiple ways. You should be able to reverse engineer. And like, shout out to Grace because she's the one who introduced me to that. I was like, reverse engineering? Like, what are you talking about? But it's sometimes people are people have a fear of success, you guys. It's a real thing. Because I used to have it, right? Sometimes people say a goal and they don't even believe the goal that they're saying. It's like they're shaking when they say it, right? But the only reason that you are quote unquote afraid or you worry about something, it's because you don't understand it.
Mm,
And so when you don't understand something, what you need to do is break it down into digestible pieces, right? This has to do with the acronym SMART goals, right? And if you don't know that, I'm gonna drop it in the chat. And it's somewhere in my notes. I'll be looking for it while I'm talking to you guys. But you you literally, actually, Grace, I'll send it to you so you can drop it in the chat.
okay.
But as you literally have to be able to break down your goal. If someone says, okay, cool, just for example, they're like, okay, your goal is $10,000 a month. All right, cool. What do you have to do on a day-to-day action to make it to $10,000 a month? How much do you have to make a day? Do you know that? Right? And in whatever it is that you're doing, what are your tools, your products or services that are going to help you reach that daily goal, right? To do so. Because at one point in time, I was like, you know what, like for example, like I will make 10,000 just trading, right? I've already partially made my goal. Why? Because I've already been profitable and been able to make more than 300 a day. Now it's just doing it consistently, right? Because 10,000 a month, that's $333 a day. That's it. And if y'all trade, for my traders, y'all know. Like, it's 100% a possibility. But even if, let's say, I was in my beginning stage and that was something that I was like, what? I can't make $300. Okay, cool. Let's break that out. What does that look like per hour?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? What's the breakdown of 333 in the day? Okay, like how many hours, like what is it that I need to do? So whatever your goal is, no matter what, even if it's in business, even if it's relational, even if it's repairing a relationship, gaining a trust, you should have a goal, you should have a step-by-step plan of what that looks like. You know what I mean? I know that things take time, but when you have direction, you're not only able to get there faster, but you are consistently on the right track. You guys, our world is full of distractions, like full of distractions. It is easy to think that every little thing that you learn, every little thing that you digest is part of your steady direction. It really is not. You need to have a chief aim, a goal card, right? The one thing that you need to do that's going to accomplish all the other little goals. You can't have like 5,000 goals and then like you're going to be pulled all over direction. Like, you guys, there's no such thing as multitasking. Y'all know your mind can only focus on one thing, right? No matter, I know people say that all the time, and I know, I know. But it's true. So knowing your one goal that's going to help you accomplish this part of your life, this part of your life, this part of your life. That's the one goal that you go for. You reverse engineer it, you break it down. What is the steps that I need to do every day to do so? So having a steady direction is something that is very, 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 very important because it will help you build your consistency, which helps you build your compounding, right? And that's how we can get closer to what we want. And it doesn't matter how the day looks, it doesn't matter what's failing, what's not working. If you checked off the list that you have, the one action that you have, the one thing that you have, whatever it is, as long as you checked off those boxes, you won the day. You did the thing. You're working towards your goal. And that's that, you know? So that's the first one. I think, oh, perfect. Thank you. I didn't know if you got it or not. So I sent it to Grace. She dropped it in the chat. You guys can utilize this, right? To just when you're setting your goals, whatever it is that you're going to do. Because think about it, you guys, you're going to always have a new goal. Okay? You're going to always have a new goal. You're going to always have something that you're reaching towards. Why? Because we're progressive creatures. Once we accomplish one thing, we're like, okay, what's next?
Exactly, the moment you get there.
The moment you get there. And that's why it's a thing where it's like you cannot be too attached on when is this gonna happen for me? But you need to have a plan. You need to have a steady direction, and you need to have small things that you follow day to day that is going to give you that bigger picture. So the SMART goals, I'm not going to go too much into it, but S stands for specific, M is for measurable, A is for attainable, R is for risk, and then T is for timely. So understanding, I dropped it in the chat. You guys can utilize it, read over it and do that. And this is going to help you create a steady direction because if you know exactly what you're going for and why you're going for it, then you will reach it and you'll be consistent. So that is the first step to not being inconsistent and not being an underachiever, okay? Having a steady direction, because not having a steady direction gets you exactly just that. Yeah.
That's pretty sweet. That was a great breakdown of it. And I wanted to touch on it a little bit because like we
Yeah.
can write our goal cards all day. But one of the things I'm learning is to write it and then I wrote on the back of my goal card, get into the spirit, get intensely emotional with the goal because
Mhm.
we can really only learn two things. We learn things two ways, repetition
Yep.
and emotional impact. And so when we can get into an emotional impact, like this is a repetition. You see it, you touch it, you feel it, you read it, that's a repetition. But getting into the spirit of it, getting into the emotion of what it's going to feel like when you accomplish that goal. Mine's attached to people. Like for me to hit six figures in network marketing, in online marketing, I have to have people. I have to get intensely emotional with the the people that I get to work with, the people that I find along the way, the people's stories, like those stories and hearing other people create residual income, like that conversation gets me emotional because I know what it did for me. And so I'm like,
Mhm.
these kind of things, um, when we have that emotional impact, it lasts. And then that's the thing that drives you to keep doing your goals, which is leads into step number two, which is like underachievers and inconsistent people don't have structure.
Mm.
And if they lack structure, they lack being able to pre-plan things. Like when it comes to structure, guys, timing and using your calendar, like I know it's as cheesy as can be, but your calendar is your best friend. And as an entrepreneur and a self-directed investor, if you are one, you're a self-employed investor. You have to dictate your schedule. You're the one doing, nobody's holding like a time clock over your head and saying like, show up to work, show up to this, show up to this. Like first of all, if we have to be told to show up to our goals, like you haven't hit, it's not that you don't want it, it's just you haven't created
Mm,
that emotional attachment to it yet to where it pulls you out of bed in the morning. And
mm,
that's a thing we can learn. It's not that you're doing it wrong. It's just you probably haven't been made aware that you can do that. Like your goal should be so exciting that you want to wake up and do it. Like, and then when people tell you don't do it, like you're like, go away. Like I want to do my like what are you doing? Um, get out of the way. Like that's how it should be. And I know for anybody that's played sports, when you wanted to master your craft, or if you were in artistic thing, you got lost in your
mhm,
goal. You got lost in perfecting the technique. You got lost in the sauce. You got lost in it. And we have to get lost in our goals in order to have that emotional thing. But we do that by planning our day. We do that by having structure. We do that by having like inconsistent people will wake up any time of the day. They don't have a morning routine. They don't have a burning desire to do really anything. They just kind of get up and they do their day. They're like,
mm,
oh yeah, I should probably take a shower. Oh yeah, I should like probably get on that call that I think is at this time. Maybe, maybe not. And like they just don't know. And it's fine if you've never flexed that muscle. Just know that it's a muscle you can flex. There's nothing
mm.
wrong with it. You just haven't learned if that's where you're at. Um, it, and like I said, like we don't say this stuff to be like, oh, you're the worst. It's no, you just haven't been made aware of it. Like everybody, I have the fundamental belief that everybody can learn everything, with their cognitive abilities being at a certain point. And so the only reason we don't do it is because we've never been taught. And so the moment you get taught, then it's your responsibility to then
Mm,
put it
mm,
into action. And so there's been plenty of things where my mentors, my coaches have been like, where is it? Like, did you put it in your calendar? Did you like write it down? Like, where is it? Like, why is there no data that I can track? If you don't bring me data, I can't help you. And that's been a constant theme that I've had to learn is remembering where stuff is, remembering where information is, remembering to send people the correct information at the correct time in the correct order. Like there's a step and a process to everybody's business. There's a step and a process to um doing things in an efficient manner. And successful, consistent high achievers have that system down. And they make systems in order to not let things fall to the wayside and not let things fall through the cracks. Because the worst thing we could do is have these amazing opportunities and then just let them fall through our fingers because we were unstructured and we didn't have things in the right place. And so whether that looks like setting up a Google Calendar, guys, I use Google Calendars like the back of my hand. Like, and I've got
mm.
all my Google Calendars connected to all my other Google Calendars, and I just make everything so I know what I'm doing in the next hour. And so if I go onto my um, calendar, whether it's what time I'm waking up or what time I'm working. And like for
Mm,
holidays, I just don't book it. Like I just don't put it in the space. So that's like Thursday. But
mm.
I had to call at like 1 p.m. on Thursday, which was a holiday. Like we don't bend our goals to our days. As an entrepreneur, you get to dictate your schedule. You get to dictate your time and you get to allocate it and you get to learn this in the process. Nobody ever starts out being amazing at it. Just
Yeah.
trust me. We don't we don't start out being like, "Oh, yeah, that call I was supposed to be on." Like
No,
you're
you
not going to
start.
get it right. You're not going to get it right all the time, but being aware of the fact that using your calendar, using your resources, using the tools that are literally free, to help you in that process and automate things. Um, having
Ooh.
things automated in your calendar, guys, game changer. I don't have to really set my schedule anymore. It's there. Like it's automated. I know what I'm doing on Mondays. I know what I'm doing on Tuesdays. Um, so you guys can do what works for you, but I would highly suggest planning the week. If Emmy and I have been doing this forever, she does a really good job of evaluating her week on Sunday nights. Um, and same with me. I evaluate the week before. I think for me, you do have like a template, kind of like what you're looking for on what
Yeah, I actually do them on Saturdays now, just to get
okay.
ahead. So
Yeah,
Sundays I could just like kind of overview and like squeeze in whatever last minute things that pop up.
yeah.
Um, but
Perfect.
yeah, with the no, like I completely agree. Like no structure, it's just and it's really just a lack of discipline, honestly. And and again, like do for sure what works for you, but if you don't know what works, um success leaves clues.
Follow
Every
something.
successful person I know has a calendar. Like they are not, it's never just like, oh yeah, like we'll talk about it, right then and there. Like, okay, well, it's either I'll send you my schedule or hey, are you free at Tuesday at this time? Like, you know what I mean? Because you get in flow of knowing when your free time is. Listen, you guys, like success is in the boring. Success
Mm,
is in the mundane. It and some people will be like, "Oh, well, no, like, cause I wanna have this." Listen, the most spontaneous, successful people I know they still have their structure, they still have their calendar, they still have the things that work. So, I just dropped in the chat, the weekly register, and one thing you said was so important, like, if you don't have data, like, if you don't track yourself, you can't grow.
mm,
And I literally was telling someone that the other day, like, you have to track what you're doing so you can see where you need to improve. And and honestly, it's 3 questions that I asked with the weekly evaluation. And these are the same questions that I ask myself for quarterly evaluations, right? And like, because literally I'm about to do my fourth quarter evaluation soon, right? So I
mhm,
could kind of oversee and like implement things in the 2025 calendar that I may have lacked in this quarter. And I'm going to ask the same 3 questions. What did I do well? What didn't I do well? What do I need to improve on? And this is simple things, but they are gonna give you the data and the information that you need. If you know for the fourth quarter that, okay, well, I wasn't as consistent with my reading that I needed to, cool. You know, for the first quarter of 2025, you're going to set in place things that are going to help you stay on track and exceed your goal for reading. Maybe that's 10 pages a day. Maybe that's, one book a month. However it goes, we're not telling you to do exactly what we do and how we do it, but use the systems you have. Use the systems you have. Systems save you time, energy, and money. That's literally the acronym for system. And that's why it's there. So I definitely agree with everything that you said because like it's so important. Like and it's a great thing that you are an entrepreneur and you are your own independent business owner, but it's also too a bad thing because you
mm.
can literally decide to not do anything. And obviously, it's going to cost you. You guys like remember cost versus value. Is it going to cost you more now or later? Because if it's valuable, you're not going to let it cost you. Remember, everything that you don't sacrifice now will end up being a sacrifice later. All the things you want are going to end up being the sacrifice later, and you're not going to get them because you didn't just want to give yourself that time frame and structure out your day, your calendar. Literally take 15-30 minutes on a Saturday, Sunday, whichever day, whatever your day is. I have some people that structure out their day, like some of my business partners, they structure out their day and set their schedule on Mondays, you know? But it makes sense for her. She has a lot of kids, she has a catering business and all of this other stuff. But on Mondays are her days where she's like, "Husa," and she can schedule out her week. Cool. Whatever day that works for you, as long as you're structuring it out, because it's really important because you guys like self-discipline and discipline are two different things. I want y'all to know that. Your self-discipline is completely different from just having general discipline. And that's a whole nother training, like self-discipline. That's a whole nother training. I literally have a training for that. Like
Love to hear that one.
yeah, 10 steps to self-discipline. I got it back in 2022 and it changed the game for me because I was just like, wow, so how is self-discipline and discipline different? Self-discipline is you putting things in place. Discipline is the world and things around you putting things in place where you have to do it. That's the difference. Your job can't give you self-discipline, but it gives you discipline because you know if you're late, you're not gonna get that check and you're gonna be late on them bills. You know that much. So guess what? It gives you a discipline to follow. But self-discipline is things and feelings that you have to put in place and you have to do them long after the feeling of wanting to do them is has gone. Like self-discipline literally helps you be the anchor and do the thing even when you don't feel like it. I did not feel like waking up and making my morning routine, do my morning routine today. Cause like I'm going through my little monthly cycle and I'm just like, I just want to be in bed and eat sweets. No, I can't. No, no, because I understand one, I had to pour into myself in order to even be on this call. I had to pour into myself this morning in order to deal with these kids that's running around the house. Like I had to, but I have that self-discipline. I've done my morning routine for now going on 2 years straight. I have not missed a day. So those small compounds now has given me that automatic response like you need to get up. We're not doing this. We never miss a day. What are you doing? Literally, like it's wild. But yeah, you guys. So those are a few things that could help you. The weekly rhythm register, the Google Calendar, the weekly evaluations, asking the 3 questions. I'll put them in the chat while Grace tackles the last point and we'll let you guys go.
Yeah, I love all of that because it leads into to number three, where it's like rushing around doing things last minute and not having a plan and not being um
First, girl.
prepared is not beneficial to you. It causes more havoc and chaos for you, and you don't give the best to the people that are around you. And so,
Mm,
like, as much as it's like, yeah, we shouldn't, like, things happen and last minute stuff happens and life happens. That's not this piece. This piece is literally never planning and not preparing for the things that you know are coming. Uh,
mm,
and having the grace to understand what is what and being graceful towards people that are having those kind of things and knowing the difference. And so being able to hold yourself accountable to not doing things last minute, not assuming other people are doing it for you or with you, or just the art of assuming that other people are in that without actually clearly communicating, hey, you're doing this and I'm doing this. Like in entrepreneurship, we can get caught in, oh, this person's really good at executing, and they probably understood what I said I wanted, and you never communicated and never asked them specifically what the deal was. And I've gotten myself in trouble doing that on a few occasions, but the times you get called out for doing it, you won't ever do it again, promise you, because it doesn't feel good, and it doesn't put you in a good position and it doesn't help the other person. And so as much as we can be responsible for our communication, um, and not doing things last minute, I had the the more that I observe, and it's purely just observation, the executors and the operators that run really successful businesses, they operate really fast. So they can take a piece of information, get something, and delegate it really quickly. So they give information really quickly, they give feedback really quickly, they give um,
mm,
touch points really quickly, if that makes sense.
mhm,
The individuals that take forever to do things don't communicate, they lack urgency. They're the
mm,
ones that don't tend to get things done, or they're waiting to get it done at the very last minute when they could have just done it when they first got the thing. And this is something that I've had to work really hard on because in my brain, it being a soccer player, whatever my background nonsense was I always thought being good at last minute pressure situations was a skill and was a good thing. Coming to entrepreneurship, getting things done before a deadline is so important.
Bro.
It's so important and it makes you look better. So why would you cause yourself chaos and turmoil to try to get things done? Because think about this. Majority of people in school, they get a deadline for a piece of homework, they get a deadline for something, even in work, you get a deadline to submit some piece of information that's like just tedious admin stuff. People wait till the last minute possible to do that because they just don't want to think about it. They just put it off, put it off, put it off, and then they're like, "Oh crap, I should do that thing." Um, in entrepreneurship, in business, and part of the concept of having structure and being self-disciplined is getting a task and seeing how fast you can get it off your plate and have it
Mm.
done. Like close the loop of the work so that you don't have to open it. It's like having too many tabs open in your brain. If
Pet
you can
peeve.
just get those tabs off your plate and not have them there, um, yeah, you're gonna feel a lot better. You're gonna get to the end of your day, and the things that used to take you days will take you minutes because you finally
Mm.
just confronted the work and did the work. Um, and by no means am I amazing at this. There are certain things that I'm still in the process, and I had to be made aware of this because I would be doing certain things, and my mentor was like, "Why did that take you so long to do?" Or like, why'd you stop working in the middle of this and then start this when you could have just finished this task? And I was like,
Mhm.
I didn't even know I was doing it. And so
Mm.
my workflow, my process for operating has gotten better because I've had somebody in different capacities be like, you can do that faster. You can you can operate way faster than this. And so I challenge you guys, the next piece of like if it's an email, one of the things that I think it's Matt Gurley was always really good at, or is it Brandon Boyd? It's Brandon Boyd. Um, Matt
Yeah.
would give him homework or whatever. Basically, they needed to get slides or whatever for anything that Matt ever needs to get from Brandon Boyd. Brandon Boyd is the first person to always send it in. Doesn't matter what he's doing. Man has like 72 kids. Like he's got a lot of kids. He's got a whole family. Like but he operates at such a high level when he gets a piece of
Yes.
information, he does the thing right then and there, and then he moves on with his day. Um, and he gets a lot of stuff done. And he closes a lot of loops. And so if you guys have, and for me personally, when I feel like I'm just spinning my wheels and I'm not doing anything, it's because I haven't finished a single task. I've
Mm.
started a lot of tasks, but I haven't closed a loop on any of them. And
Mm.
so the days that I feel on top of the world, the days that I feel the most productive are the days that I have a task, I do the task, I get to the next task, and I complete tasks and I complete things. And I kind of put it as a challenge for myself, instead of waiting to the last minute possible to do those things. Um, and
It's good.
so I'm sure Femi has a few things on this topic as well. I would love to hear your insight on this as well. So that's just my own perspective on how I observe people that operate really fast. They just get
Mhm.
tasks and they finish them really quickly.
No, that was really good. And honestly, like you hit it on the head. Like, because I used to be that person as well. And it wasn't even because I wasn't aware of the fact that, it needed to be done or and it was just not finishing other things I already started. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I know I have to do this, but I have like three other things right here. But as soon as I'm done with this, then I'll have more time to do this. And we create this logic, you guys, when it comes to being last minute and rushing. And I'm telling you, like, bro, there's nothing like being prepared and already just having things done. And how you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you're doing that right now in any part of your life, that's probably why you don't have a synchronization of like discipline in all assets, in all facets of your life. Literally. Because In one area, you start, you don't start, or you're still in the level 2 of self-talk. I should, I know that I need to. You're telling your mind, I know the thing, I'm aware of it, but I will not do it. That is called consciously incompetent. You're aware of it. You know it's there, but you don't do it. So you need to rewire yourself. And the rewiring starts with the small things, finishing one task and then going to the next one, literally, and just giving yourself that structure. So you honestly like hit it on the head. Like, I don't even have anything to add to that because you're just not prepared. When you're doing stuff last minute, you're not prepared. One thing I will say though, take accountability. Because if you try to justify it too in the process of already being last minute with it and inconsistent, you're never gonna really do it. Because you keep telling yourself like, oh, well, it's okay. You're giving yourself leeway. Like, nip it in the butt. Okay? Take accountability. Be honest with yourself. Know that you do stuff last minute. You don't do it at the time that you're supposed to. And then now tackle it. Start doing the tasks. Like you can even do brain dumps, like where you literally just write every single thing that you need to do, categorize it from most important to least important,
Hmm.
and then tackle it that way. Do 3 a day, 2 a day. And if you, excuse me, and if you get done with those 2 things for the day, add another one. You know what I mean? So just really taking that time to, once you get something, tackle it. See how fast you can do it, and do it. And this also too ties in with everything we talked about. If you plan out your day, you plan out your day, you plan out your week, you plan out your schedule, you evaluate yourself. One of the things under what I didn't do well is doing stuff last minute. I didn't finish this task. And when you start seeing that popping up week after week after week, time to change it. It's time to do something about it, which is why, again, it's important to track. So I hope you guys got a lot of value, and I hope this has encouraged you and really put a fire up your behind to no longer be inconsistent or be a underachiever, because you guys, you have greatness in you. There's no reason for you to not reach your goals. There's nothing stopping you but you. And being inconsistent and underachiever are one of those things like that you can completely change. Like, I agree with what Grace said. Everything we talked about, everything we're saying, all the stuff that we have years of doing, it's because we built a habit and we consistently do it. You guys can do it too.
Hmm.
Anybody can. It's just the willpower. Are you willing? Are you willing to change? And are you willing to apply the things that you learned today? So definitely get one thing, pick up one thing and just start tackling it, you know? And I definitely agree with the challenge that Grace give. Have an audio that you listen to every single day, the same audio that you listen to every single day. And just find the one thing that you need to start doing to not be inconsistent, you know? Not having a steady direction, not having structure, and rushing to do stuff last minute. Those are 3 things to stay away from if you want to be someone that is reliable, consistent, and actually an overachiever.
One of the things that I was taught, that actually like blew my mind about just all of this in general is the fact that our habits at one point that we have, they served us. And so
Mm,
me being a last minute person to do like homework, it served me in that season.
mm,
Being okay with saying thank you for that, it no longer serves me, and then choosing something different that now serves you. I
that's
think that process, because at some point, all of our habits have served us, whether it's being inconsistent, it serves you in some capacity. It might serve the wrong part of you, it might serve a piece that you're trying to get rid of, but thanking it for what it served its purpose for and then being okay with saying, you no longer serve me. This habit no longer serves me. I don't want it, and I want to choose the opposite.
Mm,
It brought this really cool sense of like, I wouldn't say acceptance, but like appreciation for being okay changing and being okay sucking at changing too. Because like
mm.
you're gonna get it wrong, you're gonna mess it up, and you're gonna sit there and you're gonna let the self doubt, the self-worth conversation, the oh, I messed it up this one time, like now I shouldn't do it, like this is hard. You're gonna let those things be your internal self-talk and being okay saying that was the old me.
Yeah.
That's not who I am now. Um, and allowing yourself to change is the process. Like these are all of the things you're gonna go through. Um,
Hmm.
and it's a beautiful process to be able to get to the other side where you're like, that no longer serves me. Why would I even do that anymore? Like, why would I be inconsistent? Why would I rush? Because it causes so much other chaos that I want to avoid that now. Um, and so just notice those things in yourself as they come up.
Yes.
Like be okay with it. Everybody has them. It's not you're the worst person ever. It's literally just part of being a human. And you are allowed to change and you're allowed to fail in front of people. This is a place where you guys can bring your failures and literally work on them in front of us. Like, and same with us.
Facts.
90% of my stories are from failures.
Facts. No, facts. I love that. Beautifully said. It is okay to change, and it is definitely something that is difficult, but you can do it. We believe in you, and this is the space where you are free to grow, learn, and change. So, thank you so much, girly, for always being by my side doing these calls. I'm grateful for you. I'm happy to call you a business partner, a best friend, and a co-host on this. I love it, love it. And yeah, you guys, I hope you guys got some value. They are knocking down my door because it's time for us to spend time together. So I have to. Uh
You hop off, I'll let everybody else talk for a sec, but we will
Definitely.
catch you next week.
Yes, I love all you guys. Come back, bring a friend, tell a friend, and be intentional. Be great. Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Amazing, amazing. Well, if you guys, we have a few minutes left here. If anybody would like to unmute, share some insights, share a little thing they learned here, or if you guys have been in the process of making your goal list and update us on how that list of 300 goals is going.
So you guys, what you guys touched on today,
Hmm.
I just read in over the last 2 days in chapter 7 of Think and Grow Rich, like on organized planning.
Oh, shoot, that's cool.
So you read like the 30 causes of failure, and then like I just read this morning like the 28 like questions you ask yourself if you do like I mean, Napoleon Hill calls it like an annual self-evaluation of yourself.
Hmm.
In the 30 causes of failure, I mean, the three number one causes of failure that he points out is procrastination and indecision, which go hand in hand, and then not mastering six or seven common, the 6 or 7 like common human fears. So you guys touched on is like that's right out of Napoleon Hill, and it's hugely. I've noticed that in my own life, and you start thinking like, oh, why have I not? And then it's like, oh, I've either procrastinated. Usually, you procrastinate because you're indecisive about certain things, or you have some fear attached to something that, like, your fear of something as to why you're not doing it, right? So,
Hmm.
but
That's awesome. I love the synchronicity when all of us are like learning similar things. I know that's happened with Aaron a few times where um whatever he's learning that week and whatever you're learning this week, then we come together on these calls and it's synchronicity is real. So
yeah,
that's really cool, Eugene.
and you guys touched on attitude, and I like one of the the 28 questions that you ask yourself is, do you like do your day-to-day activities, like he talks about, is like rendering your like your personal services, right? Like, you're working at your job, in your business, with your family, with your friends, like, do you do all of that stuff like in harmony with the harmonious attitude? And that's really hard. You have to like think back and looking like you'd be really like um be really honest, and I'd be really honest and be like, yeah, probably not. Like, there's sometimes I go to my job and you're just, you're pissed off, right? And yeah, you know, especially sometimes what I do, I mean, like oil field, and it's not necessarily, it's really easy to be like that. It's like, yeah, I could have probably had a better attitude, like on this day and that day, right? Like,
I think that's cool is you being in that space, um, and you knowing this information. It's like your responsibility to practice it and emulate it and have people ask you questions like, why is Eugene always so happy when the rest of these guys are like just mad at the world? Like it brings a really cool responsibility to you, because you do know this information and they don't. And so that's really cool.
it's a good place to practice it,
Yeah, it's a
because
really tough place to practice it, but it's that's where we get to practice.
yeah, it is. It's not a very yeah, like there's just so many times, like so much stuff where you just have to put a smile on your face and just do it. You know, you're working like right now, it's like minus, I don't know. Well, I'm gonna say this in Celsius. I don't know what it is in Fahrenheit, but like minus 20 Fahrenheit or 20 Celsius,
Yeah.
which is, yeah, cold. You know, it's like you're working and I mean, you're getting dirty, and it's gross, and it's monotonous work, like mundane, like over and over and over again, the same thing, right? So it's really, like I said, it's really easy. You can really be negative about it, right? And you see a lot of guys that do that. But I've always found in my own experiences, when I just choose to be positive and put a smile on my face, and I'm the one that's laughing and like cracking jokes and making other people laugh, is like, oh, it just goes by, your day is so much better.
Big facts. That makes the world of a difference. So that's really cool. You get to do that there.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, Gene. Does anybody else want to hop on?
I like the topic about attitude because attitude plays a huge role in our willingness not to learn. And I see a lot of people that have stopped themselves from growing, from evolving, from advancing just because of attitude.
Mm,
And with a certain, you can tell a lot about a person if they have a lot of inner conflict or a lot of limiting beliefs that they're carrying out just by their attitude. So once you start being transformed by the renewing of your mind, you start to see a lot more things clearer, a lot of illusions being fallen, and then you start seeing like, okay, what's the difference between me now expanding and elevating like I wasn't before? And you say, okay, attitude played a huge role in it,
mm.
and I was resistant towards something, even though I might have not had facts. So you can try to help someone, they'll be like, no, I don't want to do this. But then they can still ask for the help again, but not willing to apply the knowledge. So that's where you kind of, like I said, I always tell people, monitor your inner dialogue.
Mm.
What's the ideas that you continue to entertain because that's what you're going to eventually become. So it all ties back into, like I said, the inner dialogue and realizing where is it leading you. And as we continue to elevate in 2024, we're going to thrive in 2025 with a better mindset. Like I said, with goals, with clarity and direction. So thank you, Grace and family, for bringing that up again. And like I said, always bringing new knowledge.
Appreciate you so much, Aaron. Always love hearing your insight this on our calls. Um, and throughout the week, I know you're always a diligent student, doing all that you can to learn and grow, and it's really cool to watch, bro. Proud of you.
Thank you.
And for anybody else that I know you guys have your cameras off, so if you guys can't or not in a position to talk, no worries. We'll leave it here for a few minutes. But if you guys do want to hop on, feel free to do so. Um, other than that,
I want to say I appreciate you guys.
what's good, man?
I was good. I know you can talk. I appreciate you guys for everything that y'all teach me, and I am eager to learn more.
Dude, I'm so happy you got to like, you're not at work today, huh?
No, not today.
I was like, you got to hop on and listen in. I love that. Dude,
Yeah.
that's really sweet. Happy you got to be on. We're always excited to see you, man. And are we friends on Instagram? I'm not sure. Ah, your sound's not, you muted yourself.
I don't know if I am.
It's all good. I'll find you. Drop your Instagram in the chat.
Okay,
But yeah, let's stay in touch, bro.
I definitely will.
And then appreciate you, Jeech and Rhonda. Happy to have you guys on as well. Um, very sweet. I'll find you, man. But yeah, we love and appreciate each one of you. It says a lot about you guys on a Saturday to take the time out of your day, take the time out of your week, to really pour into yourself. I know these were the things that made all the difference for me. I would literally be at soccer practice, like soccer. I was a coach, and I would be listening to somebody else who was doing calls like these, and listening in while I was literally like doing my job, and probably not the best thing, but I was just so hungry for knowledge. I was so hungry for anything different to put into my mind to change the way that I thought, because it literally truly is. We cannot change the problems that we have on the same level we created them. So we need new thoughts and we need new ideas and we need new conversations to be able to rewire the way that we operate. And so the fact that you guys spend your Saturday just for an hour here really says a lot about you and says a lot about your growth and where you want to go. And I can promise you, it is the single thing that is the separating factor between those who stick around the information long enough and really see some success, and those who get distracted, and those who become inconsistent, and those who don't do the things that they actually were designed and called by God to do. Because each one of you have a gift, each one of you have a specific skill set and a specific calling to reach the people around you with whatever skill set and whatever blessing you have to offer. And I know we are on these calls for like mindset and motivation, but like, guys, our giftings should be the thing that create the income from us, because we only get paid in proportion to the value we add to the marketplace. And so whatever value you are adding to the marketplace is in direct proportion to what you will be paid. And it's not how we do our job, it's what we create in this world. And so I know with each one of you on here, you're super incredible creators. We just have to tap into that more and create more value and create more experiences and create more things. And I couldn't be more grateful to be around creators and to be around builders and to be around people that literally want to offer their service as a gift to others, because that's actually how the world works. That's actually how this whole world is supposed to work. And so the fact that you guys know that is amazing, and we just get to tap into it more and more and more as we grow together. And so next week will be same time, same place. Bring a friend, and we will look forward to seeing you guys as well, and growing along the journey with you guys as well. So much love. We will see you guys next week. Have a good Saturday. Be blessed and stay grateful. Bye, guys.